After 8 years, there have been 39 total seasons added to Fortnite Battle Royale. Some have completely changed the game, while others almost killed it. And today, I'm going to rank them all. So let's get into it. In last place, to no one's surprise, is Chapter 6 Season 2 Primal. To start out this season, it introduced the controversial crafting update along with the completely hated makeshift weapon system. The makeshift and the primal weapons were wildly inaccurate, some of the most inaccurate weapons we've ever seen in Fortnite to this day. You basically had to spend half the game working to get a weapon you could find off spawn in a previous season. And let's not forget about the horrible map updates that turned the entire middle of the island into an eye-straining orange color that just hurt to look at. And last but almost certainly least were the weird animals like the boars, the wolves, the raptors, and the frogs, and the hunter's cloak. But who could forget about this season's best item, the meat? In all seriousness though, there's a reason why to this day this season ranks the lowest overall. Fortnite Primal is 100% F tier. Following closely behind in the 38th spot is Chapter 5 Season 3 Wrecked. People already hate opponents driving away in cars across the map. Now just imagine those same cars on steroids. Infinite fuel, quicker, have turrets on top of them, explosive cannons, and even more durable. Now what I just explained already sounds like hell, but on day one, there were no boogie bombs and there were no EMP grenades. This season was the equivalent of a Fortnite war. And don't even get me started about the whole adapt thing that went around on Twitter. This season was so bad that it had casuals and pros hating it.
50% of players hate Season 3, whilst the other 50% love it.
Chapter 5 Season 3 goes in F tier as well. Next up on the ranking is Chapter 6 Mini Season 1 Galactic Battle. Now there wasn't anything really wrong with this season, there's just a few tiny little details to pick out. To start off with, all the weapons were switched to Star Wars weapons. The POIs were all put in the corner of the map, so basically by the time you were done looting, you were already in Storm if you landed at those POIs. And finally, this season really failed to capture the audience. I mean, as a Star Wars fan myself, this season was decent, but it just got real boring way too fast. I mean, just look at the dip in the player count from the start of the season to the end of the season. The average players are going below 1 million. Fortnite Galactic Battle is going straight into F tier. Here at the 36th spot is Chapter 3 Season 4 Paradise. There's so many things that I could say about this season, from the ugly grayscale map to the amount of balls flying across your screen in the end game. Let's not forget about the horrible, worst ever event of all time, Fracture, at the end of this season as well. Me personally, I'd rather twiddle my thumbs for 30 minutes than collect coins on an island. After all that said and done, Fortnite Competitive was also nearing the end of its lifespan because of this season. And for that, Fortnite Paradise is F tier. Up next is Chapter 4 Season 3 Wilds. There isn't really much to say about this season. It hit basically all the same notes as the Primal season. It added back the raptors. Here's the catch though, guys, you can ride them. I know, it's insane. But other than removing some of the best POIs of Chapter 4 and making the map worse than it was in Season 2, this season really just is painstakingly mid. They basically reinvented Primal and slapped a new name on it. And the few things they did add this season weren't entirely loved, like the wasps, the weird plants, and the new mudsliding. The season wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. And for that, it's our first D tier. Chapter 5 Season 2 Myths and Mortals is up next on this list. Myths and Mortals is really where we start to get into some of those seasons that weren't terrible, but still had some massive flaws. To start out this season, Fortnite was in downtime for nearly 13 hours. Last time they were in downtime for that long, they granted everyone a free backlink. They didn't do that for this one. Most people were actually pretty excited for this season launch. We were finally gonna get an ancient Greek Fortnite season. It turns out Fortnite had other plans though, because about halfway into the season, they decided to remove all of the items that were themed around this season, including the Thunderbolt of Zeus, the Chains of Hades. All of those items were just removed for the Avatar collab. Overall, Myths and Mortals had a promising theme, but in the end, this season did not deliver on that promise. Myths and Mortals is D tier. Here in the 33rd spot, another Chapter 5 season, Chapter 5 Season 4, Absolute Doom. Absolute Doom is the second full Marvel-themed season added to Fortnite. As you will see later on, the first Marvel season is ranked pretty highly. This season introduced a lot of different types of Marvel weapons, and overall the gameplay was pretty decent. The map changes were pretty good, but it just got old way too fast. It didn't have the same nostalgia that first Marvel season had. This season also had 2 separate live events. The first one, you had to shoot Dr. Doom for like 30 minutes straight. It's kind of boring. The second one was the IRL Fortnite Remix Prelude event. That also wasn't very good. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw this season into D tier as well. The next spot on this ranking goes to Chapter 6, Season 4, Shock and Awesome. Chapter 6 Season 4 has some of the same issues listed in the previous seasons. It just got boring way too fast. This season, to start out with, had some of the most overpowered medallions this game has ever seen. The map was partially destroyed. Everyone's favorite, the shockwave grenade launchers, were added back. Then, out of the blue, this season's loot pool completely changed. It had an identity crisis right in the middle of the season. A few weeks later, Fortnitemares came out. Doja Cat took over Fortnite. It was the craziest thing you guys could have ever seen. My GOAT POI, Freaky Fields, came back as well. You guys just had to be there. In all seriousness though, this season just had the worst identity crisis, and for that reason, it is going in D tier along with the other seasons as well. Next up, we have Chapter 3, Season 3, Vibin'. I like to think of this season as the season that added a whole bunch of trash. When you really take a look at it, Vibin' re-added the ballers, this time, garbage. They added the 2-shot shotgun, which was also completely garbage. They retextured the Spider-Man gloves and just made them garbage. And the map updates were also just completely subpar. They completely ruined Command Cavern. The big tree around the center of the map wasn't very fun to land at. They demolished my boy Greasy Grove for the second time in his lifetime. And let's not forget, this was the first season to have the Season 3 curse. Overall though, despite the glaring issues it had, the gameplay was actually pretty fun. I would give Fortnite Vibin' a D tier. Following closely behind is Chapter 6, Season 3, Super. Super follows in the footsteps of the previous season. It again inherited the Season 3 curse. Despite having the curse working against it though, the start of this season was actually very good for a Season 3. All of the new weapons, the new map changes, it all looked good. It just turned out that in the middle of the season, the map changes started to look pretty bad. The weapon changes and balances weren't favorable for most of the community. And like many other seasons previously on this list, Fortnite just could not keep a grasp on their general audience. Chapter 6 Season 3 started out great, but ultimately in the end it succumbed to the Season 3 curse. Fortnite Super is going straight into D tier. Starting out the 20s, in the 29th place is Chapter 2 Season 1. Chapter 2 Season 1 started out pretty good with a whole refreshed map and refreshed loot pool, rethinking the original loot pool that started out in Chapter 1. Other than the start of Chapter 2 Season 1, they added lightsabers into the season randomly for the very first time, and the one main update that it had was adding the harpoon gun. If the boredom of the season wasn't bad enough, it was extended almost double of a regular season out to 139 days, making it the longest season Fortnite has ever had. Despite the huge flaws that Chapter 2 Season 1 had, it was still very refreshing for most players, including myself, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in D tier as well. Here just slightly ahead at 28 is Chapter 1 Season X Out of Time. The reason why I say slightly ahead is because this season, although having the worst community feedback with hashtag remove the mech and all the issues along with the mech, there were still some good moments in this season, including adding back many POIs that a lot of people loved, like Dusty Depot, Retail Row, Greasy Grove, sort of Moisty Mire. The only issue with them adding those POIs back is that they had to do it with the Rift Zones, so they all had their own unique kind of quirk and gimmick, which a lot of people didn't really like. The main thing that people hated about this season, and me as well, is the mechs. They were terrible. They would kill you in one shot. You have clips like Tim the Tatman eliminating an entire squad with the mech blindfolded. You have Mongrel getting eliminated by an invisible mech. Even with all of these issues, I still have nostalgia for it because it was the last time we were fully on the Chapter 1 island, so I'm going to be putting this season in D tier as well. Following up in the 27th spot is Chapter 3 Season 2 Resistance. This season actually has a lot of good things going for it. It added Zero Build into the game for the very first time as its own mode. The weapons in this season were actually very balanced and very well received. Main issues with this season are just that the map changes weren't very good for what it had coming, and kind of got a shorthand because of real world events that were going on during the time of this season. The end of season live event was really the last sort of storyline event that we had for a few years, and even then it wasn't really that good because most of the time interactive events just don't leave a lasting impact on the general player base like normal events do. But even after all of that, this season did so much for the game, so I'm putting it in our first C tier. Next on the ranking is Chapter 1, Season 1, First Steps. First Steps was the first ever Fortnite season. It released over 8 years ago. This was the season that started it all. Since it was the first ever season though, Fortnite was just trying to get their head in the game. They didn't know what Fortnite Battle Royale was going to be like. Chapter 1 Season 1 was basically their playground. They could do whatever they wanted and test whatever they wanted. As a result of this sandbox-like playground area, Chapter 1 Season 1 really didn't have much going for it. The map was dry, the weapon loot pool was very bad, no minis, barely any shield, barely any heals. But this season still was the starting point of Fortnite, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in C tier just for that reason. Right after is Chapter 2 Season 8 Cubed. I would say this season is a pretty middle of the road season. The map changes were alright, the map kind of looked ugly though. The loot pool was good. I definitely enjoyed those Venom and Carnage grabbing things. I usually just use that on all opponents. But nearing the end of the season, the map just got so hideous. Like, I am talking like even worse than Primal season color of map. Like, this end of season's color of map was just terrible. Mechs were added back, but they weren't very good though. And the end of season event was hands down probably one of the best events we could have ever gotten. Chapter 2 Season 8 is definitely C tier. Chapter 2 Season 5 0 Point comes in next at 24th place. The main thing I really have to say about this season is that this was the time where Fortnite really started to take collabs seriously. It was like every few weeks there was a new collab being added to the game. The one main addition to this season, sand tunneling, was also out for half the season as well, so I don't really know how to feel about that. I do feel like the core weapon gameplay of this season though was actually very good compared to other seasons on this list. Overall, this season is very middle of the road. I'm going to be putting it in C tier. Right up next is number 23, Chapter 6 Season 2 Lawless. Lawless tried its very best to be like some of the other heist seasons up on this list. Unfortunately for Chapter 6 Season 2 though, it wasn't like those other heist seasons. It fell completely short. There were some pretty good gameplay items like the baseball bat and the gold splashes, along with some very good POIs like Crime City and Lone Wolf Lair. And Fortnite even tried to get into the meme coin scene, adding their own version with Dilbits. Even with having such a strong theme, Unfortunately, Lawless is still very middle of the road, and it deserves a C tier. Chapter 6 Mini Season 2 The Simpsons is where we start to get into the good seasons. People were really scared when Fortnite changed the art theming of this season, but it blew everybody out of the park. It was like a return to normalcy. It was like the OG days back in 2025. This mini season definitely wasn't as good as Remix or OG, but it still was pretty decent. The gameplay and map was also very good, and for the first time ever, Fortnite decreased the player count in each match to 80 players. Simpsons season is our first B tier. Following up next is Chapter 6 Season 1 Hunters. This season did a lot of things right in my opinion. The map to start out with was beautiful, an ancient Japanese kind of look. We had the sprites and the ruins. I loved the sprites. Those were the best features ever added to the game probably. We had the mid-game objective island being reworked for the Japanese theme, adding Shogun X on top. We also saw the addition of the Void Oni mask and the Fire Oni mask. The Void Oni mask was very peak. You could literally just use it like an Ender Pearl from Minecraft. My main complaint with this season is basically just the sword. So many people used the sword and just got in your box and would eliminate you so easily with the sword. It was just very annoying. But other than that, Hunters was a very decent season. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in B tier as well. Here at the 20th spot, we have our second heist theme season, Chapter 4, Season 4 Last Resort. This season did a lot of things right. It brought back the vaults, and in them had old mythic weapons from many different seasons past. The map updates were fantastic, taking out some of the unloved POIs and adding some 3 great POIs. Though they are forgettable, they were still very fun to land at. My main issue with this season is that the slurps were way too strong for one, and the shotgun meta was terrible. You had the sharp tooth shotgun that barely did any damage, and you had the infiltrator pump that also did like no damage. The end of this season was some of the most hyped the Fortnite community has ever been, because after this season we went straight into Fortnite OG. Fortnite Last Resort is 100% B tier. Moving over the halfway mark here at 19, we have Chapter 5 Season 1 Underground. Chapter 5 Season 1 is hands down the best Chapter 5 season. In this season, we got the whole new train mechanic along with the ballistic shield, which was new to every single player. We also got the addition of hurdling being added back to the game, along with the new wall climbing. There were also modded weapons. You could put whatever mod you wanted onto your weapon with the upgrade benches. Even after all those positives, there were some issues with this season, like the new movement animations. The new graphic overhaul just looked terrible. It was like grayscale everywhere. And finally, Fortnite just pushed the metaverse way too hard this season. Still, with everything combined, Chapter 5 Season 1 Underground is B tier. Next, we've got the most recent season here on this list, Chapter 7 Season 1 Pacific Break. As I'm recording this video, Chapter 7 Season 1 is still ongoing, and it's had many extensions. This season is now the 3rd longest season in Fortnite history. For a chapter launch though, this season had so much fun packed into it. All new weapons, all new map, new surfing mechanics, gold overhaul, play as a boss, and so much more added to this chapter. I would put Chapter 7 Season 1 in B tier. At 17, we've got Chapter 1 Season 6 Darkness Rises. This season was another very decent season. We got the introduction of the Heavy AR, one of the most popular weapons in Fortnite history. We also got the introduction of the Spaz, another popular weapon from Fortnite history. We also saw the addition of the floating island for the very first time. Nearing the end of the season, we saw Loot Lake transform at the end of the Butterfly event, a very iconic live event for Fortnite. The main issue with this season that people dislike and I dislike are the zombies that came during Fortnitemares 2018. Other than that, this is another very decent season, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in B tier as well. We've got another Chapter 1 season at 16th, Chapter 1 Season 9, The Future Is Yours. This season saw the introduction of the recreation of Tilted Towers and Retail Row in the form of Neo Tilted and Mega Mall. We also got the Stranger Things collab with Little Stranger Things Portal and the Scoops Ahoy shop in the Mega Mall before Stranger Things Season 3 even came out. One thing many people disliked about this season from the start was the removal of the pump shotgun. The end of the season actually saw it come back in a green and blue rarity, but the combat shotgun was very disliked at the start. Nearing the end, it was actually one of the best shotguns this game has ever seen. We got a bunch of mobility this season in the form of slipstreams and those little flyer things around the map, along with the build up to the end of season event with the Caddis and the Mecha Team Leader, one of the greatest live events to ever grace this game, probably the best live event of OG times. This season also saw the World Cup, the $30 million prize pool, and Booga solo world champion at the end of this season. This was one of the greatest times to be a competitive Fortnite player. The hype going into Season X was also unmatched by any other season as well. Even with all the hype that I'm giving this season, it is still a B tier season because we have so many other good seasons ahead of it. Here at the next spot on this ranking is Chapter 1 Season 2 Fortnites. Chapter 1 Season 2 actually suffers some of the same mistakes that plagued Chapter 1 Season 1 due to not having the minis originally and just being so low on health and shields. This season's map also started without Tilted Towers and all the other POIs that came in the mid-season update. Despite all the glaring issues that Season 2 had, it was still miles better than Season 1 was, and the gameplay was so good in comparison. A lot of people remember this season fondly, and so do I, so I'm going to go ahead and rank this in B tier. In the 14th spot, we've got Chapter 4 Season 2 Mega. To some people, there is a good argument to be had that this is one of the best seasons to ever grace Fortnite Battle Royale, but to me, there are still a lot of seasons that are better than this one. This season actually introduced a lot for the game. It changed the zone timings, added 12 zones instead of 9. We got mid-game objectives like the Loot Island and caches. We also got the legendary slurp juices for the very first time in-game. There were also so many new POIs, including the best POI of all time, Mega City, added to the game. Still to this day, there is no POI that ever tops Mega City. Vaults were also added back during this season, along with the new Katana Blade, which you could use to dash around the map for mobility. And that's why Fortnite Mega is our very first A-tier season. Next up, we've got Chapter 2, Season 7, Invasion. Invasion is one of those seasons where they took risks and it actually worked out. The summer event this season was very good, along with the weapons they added in this season, including the railgun, the recon scanner, the inflatable, and the story actually picked up full speed in this season. We were introduced to the IO in their full capacity, including Dr. Sloan and all of her goons. There's really not much to dislike about this season. Chapter 2 Season 7 is a textbook A tier season. Chapter 2 Season 3 Splashdown is here at spot number 12. I do not believe there will ever be another season where they do as many map changes as they did to Chapter 2 Season 3. Starting the season out, the entire map was covered in water. Almost every single POI was on a raft. It was absolute insanity. They added whirlpools and sharks. Unfortunately, they also removed the pump shotgun and added in the charged shotgun in replacement of it. Throughout the season, we saw the water levels come down, and at the end, the map was back to normal. And for those reasons, Chapter 2 Season 3 Splashdown goes in A tier as well. Here at the 11th place spot, we got Chapter 4 Season 1 A New Beginning. I cannot tell you how many times I have had nostalgia for this map. I actually have the opinion that this version of the map, this chapter, is the most beautiful Fortnite has ever looked. From the autumn biome to the wintry snow biome, this map was amazing and submersive. To go along with this season, we also got a new refreshed loot pool and the introduction of the shockwave hammer. This season, we also got introduced to things called augments, which are kind of like perks from other games. Chapter 4 Season 1 did a lot for the game in many different ways, and I believe that it is one of the best starts to a chapter we have ever seen in current day Fortnite. I believe without a doubt Chapter 4 Season 1 A New Beginning is 100% A tier. Coming up next is Chapter 3 Season 1 Flipped. If Chapter 4 Season 1 was one of the best chapter starts, then Chapter 3 Season 1 was the best chapter start of all time in Fortnite. From the hype of returning POIs from the OG map, to Tilted Tower's return underneath the melting ice, we also got in-game active weather with the thunderstorms and lightning along with the tornadoes. A refreshed, very good loot pool was also added to the game. The start was a little overboard on the spray and pray, but over time, the balance changes helped out the season a lot. We also got everyone's favorite Fortnite animal in this season, Colombo. And who could forget about the 80 charge Spider-Man web shooters? It literally felt like you were in a Spider-Man game. The web swinging in Fortnite was better than the web swinging in an actual Marvel Spider-Man game. Just think about that for a second. Overall, this season was a very good season, and the lead up to it before and after the live event was amazing. Chapter 3 Season 1 Flipped goes straight into A tier. Continuing into the top 10 with number 9, Chapter 1 Season 3 Meteor Strike. Meteor Strike was the very first season where we saw the storyline go into full force. We saw so many fan theories this season, and it was just a great time to be a Fortnite fan. The loot pool and gameplay changes were a little minimal, but overall it was very good for this season. And with that, Chapter 1 Season 3 can get straight into A tier. At the number 8 spot is Chapter 1 Season 7 You Better Watch Out. Only OGs will remember loading up Fortnite in 2018 Winterfest and the lobby music coming on, your TikTok feed filled with nostalgia edits about this time period. This season we got so many great POIs in the introduction of our very first icy snow biome. We had the Polar Peak Castle melting in front of our eyes, Happy Hamlet, along with Frosty Flights and the X-Force Stormwing. Later in the season, we also got the Infinity Blade that wreaked havoc on the entire Fortnite community. We also had the introduction of the Drift Board, one of the best vehicles ever added to Fortnite. We also had the entire map being converted to snow, only something that's happened a few times in Fortnite history. Things like the planes, the boomboxes, and the Infinity Blade ruined the season for a few beta players, but overall, this season was a very good season, and it deserves to be in A tier. Chapter 1 Season 5 Worlds Collide takes the cake for the 7th place spot. This season was revolutionary for map changes and mobility. Right in the very beginning of this season, we got the introduction of rifts. Basically, you take it and you get to glide wherever you want on the map. Then we got the Rift to Go. You can use it, it's like a little utility item, it takes a few seconds and you're gliding across the map. Later on, we also got the Grappler along with the Shockwave Grenades, which were also revolutionary for mobility. Our very first different type of biome was added, the Desert Biome, which introduced Paradise Palms and all the surrounding small POIs in that area. Playing in this season was just an overall different experience, you just had to be there. And for that, Chapter 1 Season 5 goes straight into A tier. Chapter 1 Season 4 Brace for Impact comes in here at the 6th place spot. Chapter 1 Season 4 is different in many cases from its predecessors because the map changes were actually story driven this season. The meteor came down and hit Dusty Depot and turned it into Dusty Divot. We also got the cinema marked location, Risky Reels. Moisty Mire and many other locations turned into a sort of filming area for the secret film with Omega and Carbide, our superheroes of the season. Many different meteor holes landed onto the ground, and in those holes were the new mobility item, the Hop Rocks. These were our very first hint at actual good mobility. This season, Fortnite also took a step into collaborations with our very first ever collaboration with Marvel in the Thanos Infinity Gauntlet LTM. This season was just straight up a goated season. It's going straight up to the top of A tier. Speaking of Marvel collabs, we got our first full season themed Chapter 2 Season 4 Nexus War. Nexus War was our first real hint at future collab seasons. We didn't really expect much to begin with, We originally had the little fighter jets coming down to the island and we get some Stark loot, and that was about it. Then one day, many players woke up and boom, an entire Stark island on the map, including Stark Industries and all of their mythic items. And let's not forget about the Galactus event that ended off this season, one of the best events of all time. I would be crazy not to put this season in S tier. Rounding out right before top 3 is number 4, Chapter 2 Remix. Many people, including myself, loved the Chapter 2 island. So many memories were made, so many friends were added during this time period. I like to think of it as sort of a trauma bonding relationship due to the unforeseen real-world circumstances that occurred during this time. This season basically flipped around our expectations and added in rappers in place of what already occurred in Chapter 2 Season 2. The POIs were mostly faithful to their original counterparts, but some changes were made here and there. What really makes this season stick out from other seasons is the End Live event. This was a tribute to Juice WRLD and all the artistry that he had done before his passing. Other hip-hop artists like Snoop Dogg, Ice Spice, Eminem, and more were added to this event as well. This was another season for all time. You guys already know it's going straight into S tier. Coming in our 3rd place spot is Chapter 1 Season 8, X Marks the Spot. X Marks the Spot comes right off there the high of Chapter 1 Season 7, and it carries that all the way until the end. We first off get the nice jungle biome, replacing Lazy Links with Lazy Lagoon, one of my favorite POIs of all time. And then we get our first ever volcano on the Fortnite map, and it is just insane to land at. So many players land at that spot. We also got the buried treasure map in this season. Literally everyone had a gold spaz. It was just the time to be at for Fortnite. We also had a really good battle pass for this season, and it was the start of the Fortnite World Cup. The Ballers, one of the best mobility items and vehicles of all time, was also added in this season. There are just so many good things I can say about this season, and not really many bad I can say about it. And for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and put Chapter 1 Season 8 X Marks the Spot in S tier. The second best Fortnite season of all time is Season OG. Take a moment to ponder with me for a second. You haven't been to the OG island for over 5 years. Some of your favorite seasons, 5 through 10, have been missing for such a long time. Then you get the announcement that we're going back to OG. Seasons 5 through 10 are going to be replayed in present time. That's exactly what Season OG did, and it was a almost complete faithful recreation of Fortnite OG back in that day. The weapons, the POIs, almost all came back just as how they were in 2018. Millions of players logged on each day, and the season ending culminated in a recreation of the End Live event from Chapter 1. The community was not more hyped than when this season came out. That's why it deserves to be at the 2nd place spot on this list, and why it also deserves to be in S tier. You guys guessed it, the best season in Fortnite history is Chapter 2 Season 2 Top Secret. It's March 2020. You just get out of school, you're on lockdown, you're stuck at home, quarantined, and this Fortnite season banger comes out. You've got Deadpool, you've got mythic POIs all around the map. It's the first ever heist season. You've got vaults, you've got mythic loot for the first time coming into Battle Royale. You've got the grotto, the agency, you've got the shark, the rig. Gold spazzes were still in the game. You had pre-nerf Midas drum gun. Do I even need to continue? You had Sky's Scar and her grappler. This season was Fortnite's peak. Everything about this season was perfect. The only small change I would make is making it a little shorter due to the extension, but that's it. This season has absolute perfection in it. It is the first place spot on every single website, every single forum, Fortnite wiki, everything. It is my first place spot as well. It 100% belongs in S tier. It should even get its own tier, but we're going to put it in S tier. And there you have it, guys. This is my completed tier list of every Fortnite season ranked. Please let me know in the comments what you would change about these Fortnite seasons ranking. If you guys made it to the very end, I want to appreciate all of you guys for watching this and hearing me rank every single Fortnite season. Please make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing and using code Blizzaroonie in the Fortnite item shop. Let me know if you guys want more ranking videos in the comments down below. I will see you guys in the next video.